Bagheera, what are you eating? Bagheera?
Something delicious, no doubt. Bagheera, what is that?
It doesn't look like food. I can't believe she turns her nose up at breakfast, but we'll eat.
Almost anything.
Did you ever want it? Did you want it bad? Oh, I can't stand myself. Did you ever want it? All of the pain, oh, running through my veins, bleeding, I'm bleeding, a cold little heart.
Go on, love, give it your all. We spend about half our time living pretty much as if we were on holiday, on the beach, in the van, eating nice food, playing with the dog. And then we spend half of our time working in probably one of the least desirable places in Europe for people to spend time. They have a warehouse where people are living in tiny boxes. And yeah, that definitely brings up feelings of guilt and feelings of, yeah, like emotional confusion about how we can live this life like this just because of our privilege, because of essentially the colour of our passport. We're able to do this, whereas people in the camp aren't. So when we arrived, they started off doing like maintenance stuff, and at that time it was around the time when people were starting to sort of realise that they were going to be here for a long time, or at least for the foreseeable future. So people were starting to paint their rooms and build tables and beds and sort of furniture for their rooms, and we had some big bits of wood delivered, so we were making stuff out of that. So that's what I was doing for the first sort of 6 weeks, is turning this container into a workshop, acquiring the tools, yeah, and setting that up so there was a space for people to come and build things. And then after sort of a month of doing that, we came up with the idea of doing a community garden. We could pay a Greek contractor and they could come in for 2 weeks, smash up a garden, and it would be like a similar sort of thing. They could build those structures, build benches, but then the residents wouldn't have had an ownership over it. And generally, when there isn't an ownership over things, they get destroyed. Because people are frustrated, they're angry, and they're getting fucked over by the Greek government daily. So the fact that they saw us doing it, a lot of them have had a hand in it. People will come for 1, 2 hours, 3 hours. Some people come all day and help us build the garden. Everyone's got a sense of ownership over it.
It transpired that the highest registered occupation in Inofita camp is tailors. So Lisa had this idea because all of the residents were living in tents until November, and then these tents were like not really fit for repurpose. They were ripped, so they were just dormant in the basement. So Lisa had this idea to create, like, upcycle these tents into bags. I work alongside an amazing guy called Kais, who was a designer in Afghanistan. So most of the design work has come from him. The idea of the project is to employ as many people as possible, because obviously when people have employment, and especially in this situation, they have a purpose, it's good for people's mental health, there's all of this, and also they have an income. I actually find, like, you know, you're getting to just kind of do a day's work with someone and I can have great conversations. Like, there is a positive energy around it. But a lot of the time, I find that the further you get into this kind of work, the more futile it feels.
I go through huge waves here, like the intensity of emotion here is massive. So even within one day we'll be building the garden and it looks amazing and everyone's sitting around playing cards and enjoying it, and everyone's got smiles on their face, and you think like, wow, we really have done a good thing, bringing things that are growing and a space for people to socialise into their lives. And then you have a conversation with someone and you just think like, what the hell are we doing? Like, we've built a few benches and put in a few plants. Like, in the grand scheme of these people's lives, they're just being ground down by the system.
The idea that we're talking about leaving, and it makes me feel sick to think about that like I can go, you know, like I can leave, I can say, well, I've done my time, and these people can't. I would love to see Dawood and Kais be the ones that leave before me. And I know that's only two people, but that's just my own selfishness, that I don't want to be the one that walks away. But I am, and I probably will be. And I find it mind-boggling. It makes me feel unhappy, I guess. It's just really unfair.